And welcome to JoyNews Today. I am Emefa Akosia Adeti. The bulletin is live from our studios here in Kokomlemle, Accra, and on DSTV channel 41 and GoTV channel 125. Coming up this afternoon, traders count their losses as fire ravages shops in a dome in Kumasi.
Jano kwane nuzonu echodu se ben hanase baby enyama ni sino ja tomu de gu enema nyina fresh air
oniema na auto ni nyina ase.
Stay with us for updates of that story. Also, Asante Hene Otumfo Osei to the second to lead mediation talks in Bawku in the Upper East region. We've got more as President John Mahama condemns recent killings of military officers in the area. And also, in our Ghana Month series today, we uncover a fascinating piece of history from Akwemu in the Eastern region, a story that links two of Ghana's former presidents. Please stay with us as well as in sports, Black Star head coach Otto Addo assures Ghanaians his team is ready and prepared to win against Chad in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers later today. We have business, showbiz in this package. Do stay for details.
Be positive.
We appreciate the company this afternoon. First, President John Mahama is asking feuding factions in the Bawku conflict to cooperate with Asante Hene Otumfo Osei to the second, who is currently mediating the peace process. This follows Otumfo's successful handling of the Bawku Crisis, addressing the people of the region in Bolgatanga on Thursday. During his thank you tour, the president described the killing of the soldiers as unacceptable. He also condemned the brutalities meted out to civilians by the military in response to the killing of their colleague.
What future do we promise our children if they inherit walls of mistrust instead of bridges of hope? A nation divided by past wounds cannot march forward into the promise of tomorrow. We must commit to living above the slights and injuries of yesterday if we will seize the opportunities and promises of tomorrow. Peace can and peace must reign in Bawku and surrounding areas. I called His Majesty Otumfo Osei II yesterday to thank him for the commencement of his mediation efforts to find a peaceful resolution of the conflict in Bawku. It is my hope that all parties to the conflict who took part in the mediation process in Malaysia last week will consider the proposals with an open mind and return in good faith to the negotiations when they resume in 2 weeks' time.
Let's get updates from correspondent Albert. Albert, the day after the president visited, what's the mood like in the region? Albert, can you hear me?
Yes, MF, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So, for many people in the Upper East region, the president takes the issue of what is happening in Bawku very seriously, considering the fact that when the recent happenings took place, we had not heard from people in authority. Yesterday, we attempted to get the regional minister to speak on the matter, but because he was busy preparing to receive the president, he could not talk to us. And so for the president himself to make a comment regarding the brutalities meted out to civilians by the military in response to one of their colleagues being killed, it's something that many, especially the traditional rulers in this region, saw to be very commendable on the part of the president. He's also talked about various developmental projects that his government intends to execute for the people in this region. One of them, which is an airport that the people here have been yearning for many years, considering that when you are traveling from Bolgatanga to Accra, you are basically traveling from one end of the country to the other. And so for many people here, an airport is something that they have always wanted. In fact, one of the traditional rulers yesterday who spoke at the event reminded the president about this. And he assured the people that it is something that is in the plans of his government, which they intend to execute as soon as possible.
Well, so with the assurances from the president, would you say that young men and women who fled the region because of their safety, would you say that they are back?
This afternoon, we checked in Bawku. A few have started coming back home. It's very difficult to tell if everyone has returned because Bawku is quite a large area. But we do know that things are beginning to come.
Oh, did I lose Albert?
And some of the young men are returning home. But MFA, I also need to... Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, Albert. Go on.
Yeah, so I was going to talk about the people who were injured from the military brutalities 2 days ago. A lot of them are still recovering in the hospitals because of the severe beatings that they have received. And just as I said yesterday, it's going to take a long time, at least a week before some of them are even considered fit enough to be discharged and sent home. So these are some of the, updates that we have received from the area. But with the assurance of the president, the expectation is that the relationship between the military and the civilians in Bawku will calm down a little bit.
Right. Albert, thank you so much for bringing us updates from the Upper East region. Now, let's engage alternate dispute resolution expert Austin Game. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Now, I recall that post-SONA, you mentioned that the conflict in Bawku, it would be very good if people like you are engaged to help. But what's your reaction on the Asantehene mediating the process? What's your reaction?
I will not call it a reaction. It's good news. I'm happy and pleased that no less dignity than the Asantehene has availed himself for the purpose of helping our colleagues in Bawku to have this matter resolved. I can only urge them to do it as quickly as they can. And we are available. To be honest with you, we do know what to do in matters of this nature. But when a matter is seized with no less a person, like I said, than the Asantehene, we can only give him the support and urge them to do it as speedily as possible. And so, but we are available. If they need our help, why not? We would avail ourselves. We are pulse practitioners, and it's not a very common thing that just everybody else can do. We know exactly what to do at any point in time. So we will avail ourselves. I do know him. I've met the Asantehene on 2 occasions with the former then Vice President, the late Atamils, in his palace when we went there for a program. So yes, we'll be available to assist him as much as we can if they request our support.
But for expert advice, this is your area of expertise. But for the Asantehene, I hear you loud and clearly say that you can help. But if you were to actually document this and put this in a book, what would be some of the ways you'd advise that we go in solving this long-standing misunderstanding in Bawku?
Well, thank you. You know, the most civilized way of resolving disputes of this character and nature is through a facilitated mediation process that can take days, especially if the parties themselves are willing to have the matter resolved, or the state call it mandatory mediation. Because you can have a mandatory mediation, but except that the mediator will have to be professional and be impartial, using neutral language, having the necessary ground rules to guide the parties, and to be honest with you, in 3 days, something can be done, particularly so when the parties are willing to have the matter resolved and have their peace. And the nation needs that as well. So if I am to support and be present, and I'm given opportunity, it's about the way we ask the necessary questions to help the parties come out from their shell. And I will urge that all those who have interest in the matter are invited to such gathering. If it's, let's say, each side having 9 people to be present, the key people, the youth, the elderly, the chiefs, the women, those who have a say in this matter and who can in turn brief their people for acceptability. And in the case of mediation, we don't go to mediation to sort of say, I'm going to think about it. So those who have the mandate and the desire to have this matter resolved are the only people that must be present in this mediation process. So that a decision can be made right on the spot, and it will be acceptable to everybody. And that will be the end of the matter. It can be done. And I believe in the Asantehene and his team. And should they need our support, I guarantee you will be present to give them the support.
Mr. Gambe, you have just expressed your strong belief in the Asantehene, but what are some of the genuine challenges you anticipate he'll face?
I think that what they need is to get the ground rules properly done. Once the ground rules are properly done and acceptable and signed onto by the parties before the commencement of the process, and they can go through the stages, as it were, prepare the people very well. The people will be asked to express the circumstance and time matter. Time in these matters matter. Maybe the circumstance will not take more than 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maximum 20 minutes. Where they will spend some time is where the emotions will be expressed. That is the learn stage, where the people will want to know why the situation had come to the stage where we have come to.
Okay.
And what is important to them about the concerns that they have been expressing all this while, both parties. Once they finish, then he will take them through a stage where the solution can be found. They search for a solution that will satisfy both of them. You know, we have helped resolve a certain debilitating chieftaincy case in Ghana here. I don't have their permission, so I won't talk about it.
Right.
And therefore, and the people resolved it, even though Supreme Court had ruled at a certain point in time, giving each side something. They recognized that, no, that is not something that will help them. They abdicated it, agreed to the process, and they had the matter resolved, and they are living in peace and very joyful as of today. And so it can always be done.
Right.
It can always be done.
Mr. Austin Gambe, thank you for speaking to us today. Now, away from that, I'll take you to Kumasi, where traders in the central business district of Edum in Kumasi are counting their losses hours after fire torched the buildings housing several shops in the enclave. The fire at the popular Blue Light Arena started around 6 a.m. today and spread rapidly as fire officers made attempts to contain the blaze. Most of the shops deal in mobile phones and accessories, jewelry and clothing. Eyewitnesses say the fire sparked from a flickering electricity pole in the area, leading to a spark on the top floor of one of the buildings.
And then they see, oh yeah,
fresher. My name is me fresher. Me fresh anka na buy. Me fresh anka me 4:30. Me see for me na mu se jani dam. Jano kwa na John no achodu se ben ana se ba bia enema ni si no. That tom de gu enema nyina fresher.
Onema na oton ni nyina ase. And then na wo hwa e de eja we buy.
Timi nkyere. Sa me firi me kwa awa. Me fra twede ton na me de ba bedu a. Me kwa awa. Timi see for me na mu se jani dam enya sam keto tutututututu.
The total worth will be like how much?
Say, after the master to almost 80-something million, I could buy 100 million. Minimum 80-something million. After the master to after the master to crack, and my 80s, if say, if I can buy 100 million.
So you can see that right now they are paving way for the fire tender to move in to bring the fire down. That's the fire tender machine, and there are a number of them up there in front of the Hello FM building where the fire started. A number of them, about 4 machines are in front of the Hello FM building trying to quench the fire from that end, and a number of them are also coming to this side to quench the fire from this end. And you can see the trader. And these are very stranded traders at the KJTR market, saying that they need more fire tender machines to come in to quench the fire. You can see it spreading rapidly.
Central Market. I just thought to say that of Kumasi Central Market. I was at the whole Kumasi Fire Service Kanyina. At Muba. And you man Tamuna and you fear Bako. Roko Faka Bakwana Kabianu.
Nana Bachiyadom has also been speaking with Deputy Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator Alhaji Alasan Tapsoba.
Started around 5 a.m. thereabout. We arrived there around 5:15. The issue is the fire service. In fact, they did their best. The main problem is how to get access to where the fire started. You see, had that been a way through, they would have finished their work within 30 minutes. But the people were even disrupting them. Some were looting. We have to go and then be arresting some of them. And the military too came in, and then they even helped us a lot. So now, the fire is towards the Roman Hill area, towards the phase 2 of the building. Yeah, so they are still working on it seriously. And still, the fire is still raging. And there are water in the tenders, but still how to get to the main where the fire is our problem right now.
What's causing the access challenge?
The structures, these wooden structures that they built on the railway, that is the major problem that is even causing the fire. You can see when we went upstairs with the minister, still the fire was still raging, and there's no access. You can see that there are waters in the tenders, but how to get to the main area is the problem.
Still in the Ashanti region, President John Dramani Mahama says government will restore Ghana's depleted forest cover and promote sustainable land management. He believes these two will complement government's efforts to address the challenges of illegal mining and environmental degradation. He's been speaking at the launch of the Tree for Life Restoration Initiative in Inkaria in the Ashanti region.
Like previous tree planting campaigns, focus solely on numbers. Tree for Life is about sustainability. It's not just about calling people out to plant trees, but it's about ensuring that the trees grow, they thrive, and provide long-term benefits for our communities. This initiative will prioritize rehabilitating lands that have been destroyed by illegal mining. We'll work with traditional leaders, local communities, and youth groups to restore these lands into productive green spaces that support agriculture, ecotourism, and sustainable timber production. Distinguished guests, no single institution or government can achieve this vision alone. The Tree for Life initiative's success depends on all Ghanaians' collective efforts. Number one, traditional authorities. As custodians of the land, I urge you to actively support this initiative by offering degraded lands for reforestation and ensuring that the communities uphold sustainable environmental practices.
Away from that, the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons is rolling out an inventory-taking process of weapons used in musketry and their handling during traditional events. Partnering the security services, the users of these firearms will properly be trained to handle the arms with the goal of protecting lives and property. Presently, regulations on firearms are silent on musketry, a situation that has contributed to security breaches during traditional ceremonies. Nana Yaujima reports.
The Anti-Galamsey Task Force of the Ashanti Regional Security Council recently commenced operations turning attention to forests, water bodies and major roads. But information gathered indicates the presence of another task force targeting registered small-scale miners and threatening to seize their equipment. On 2 occasions, the miners claim their concessions in the Amansia West district were invaded by the fake security operatives. Small-scale miner Bawku Crisis explains the cover of the group was later blown, but they escaped arrest.
People come dressed like security operatives and go to mining sites, taking parts of excavators and demand for money. We called to inquire whether the operation was sanctioned, and the regional security coordinator denied knowledge of it. We were asked to arrest them. The people started shooting into our vehicles, injuring 1 person. That's how they escaped.
Away from that, Country Director of Kojinta Ghana, Reverend Father Clement Apenguru, has identified community policing as an important security strategy in preventing violent extremism and potential domestic violence. Speaking at a community policing workshop in Wa, he described the approach as a crucial strategy for gathering intelligence and ensuring public safety. Rafiq Salam reports.
To strengthen community resilience and the Ghana Police Service's capacity in managing the threats of violent extremism, the European Union, through Kojinta, organized a 4-day community policing training for selected hotspots in the Upper West region. The training aimed to equip police officers with the requisite skills necessary to facilitate the implementation of community policing in Ghana. Country Director of Kojinta, Dr. Reverend Father Clement Apenguru, in an interview with JoyNews, explained the purpose of the workshop for the police.
We are piloting it in all the 5 regions of northern Ghana. This project was piloted in the south in 3 police districts, and because of the violent extremism threats and also potential for domestic violence, we think that community policing is one of the best ways for the police to be able to gather information that can be processed into useful intelligence to keep communities safe.
Deputy Upper Regional Commander of the Ghana Police Service, ACP, Dr. Dinam Zoiku, on his part, observed that policing is shifting away from a reactionary force to a proactive approach. Dr. Zoiku added that a lack of trust between police and community members hinders effective service delivery.
It takes 2 to tango. So we want to get the public involved in how we provide solutions to the policing problems they have. And this is the reason why we would like the public to know that yes, we are also doing our best to improve in the way we provide services to them. And so they should have the trust in us. They should come to us when they are in trouble. When they see us in the communities, they should know that we are there for their safety. We are there to protect life and to protect their properties.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
A former Deputy Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Professor Anthony Adofo-Ofosu, wants the Ghana Health Service to invest in developing structures of all levels of healthcare delivery. He assessed that this will contribute to an effective implementation of the network of practice which fosters collaboration, communication and resource sharing in the health sector. Professor Ofosu was speaking at the 2025 Volta Regional Health Sector Performance Review Conference in Hull.
The Volta region, which is served by 565 health facilities, scored 4.0 in the overall regional performance. it was rated in universal health coverage, reduced available maternal, adolescent, and child deaths and disability, and increased access to responsive clinical and public health emergency services. The Volta Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Chris Santos Quibio, announced that the region recorded significant strides in 2024.
We have moved as a region from a moderately performing region to a highly performing region. Notably, the institutional neonatal mortality rate and stillbirth rates have reduced. Tuberculosis case notification rates and the treatment outcomes and other critical health sector indicators have improved, as we will see in the presentation.
Nonetheless, there are still challenges of lack of human resources and medical logistics hindering effective care delivery. The Volta Regional Minister, James Gunu, however, promised the government's commitment to resolving the challenges to improve health care delivery.
Recommendations will come so that the government or the regional coordinating council, together with the Ghana Health Services and other partners, will see what we can do so that next year, when we are reviewing 2025, we can score a higher mark, and that will be the real record under my regime.
The guest speaker, Professor Anthony Adolfo Ofosu, suggested investment in developing structures at all levels of healthcare delivery for an effective network of practice.
So once we say we are doing the health business and we are facilitating access to quality care, we must invest in the lower structures, we must invest in the middle structures, we must invest in the upper structures, and ensure a continuum of access to quality care. And the network will make it more efficient. Other than that, you sacrifice something, because if you say you are doing hospitals and this in alone, you sacrifice access. And if you say you are doing chips alone, without the needed support, you will sacrifice quality. So it's all or none.
Fred Kwame Asari, JoyNews. Ho.
In today's Ghana Man series, we journey to the eastern region where a modest White House known as the second in command in the Akwamu state holds a remarkable piece of Ghana's political history. It's a story of royalty, leadership, and unexpected connection between two of Ghana's presidents, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings and Nana Akufo-Addo. Koji Yankson speaks to the curator of the Akwamu Museum, Nana Samensha, who reveals the full story.
Can you see this white building behind me, this house, with a big flower pot in front of it? Now, I just learned the most mind-blowing piece of information about this house, which is only about 100 meters away from the Akwamu Hene's palace. I have just discovered the most fascinating bit of information. But don't take it from me. Let's get the curator of the Akwamu Museum to tell us why this house.
This house is very, very special because it's the second in command in Akwamu State. When the king is not there, that is the house that rules administratively, you know. So that house is very special. And you know what? Akufo-Addo is a royal in that house.
So that means the President Akufo-Addo is actually an Akwamu?
In the CAN system, we go seriously matrilineal. So Akufo-Addo, by all intents and purposes, is an Akwamu, a typical Akwamu.
So his mother is from this house?
Yes. The grandmother migrated from here to marry in Achem. So to Achem, he's a grandson to the stool. But here, he's a royal.
Okay, well, I mean, while I'm trying to get my head around that interesting piece of information, it turns out he's not the only person who has led this country who came from this house.
Oh, you want to know?
Yes.
Rawlings' mother is from the very house.
What?
Yes. The Agbuti, the Kubrinus, the Heymans from Keita are all from this house. And today, that is their house. That's their royal house.
So Rawlings's mother is from here.
Yeah.
Akufo-Addo's grandmother is from here. That kind of makes Akufo-Addo Rawlings's nephew.
Yes.
You know, this house ought to be surrounded by tourists by now. This is a fascinating piece of Ghanaian
Maybe if you get there, you see a whole lot of how do you call it? Obituaries that are made from Volta region. Because this is their house.
It's amazing. Well, who would have thought? President Akufo-Addo is an Akwemu, and so is former President Rawlings. In fact, Akufo-Addo is Rawlings' nephew.
Yeah.
Strictly speaking.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Very fascinating story, right? Well, you're watching News Today. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, business, please stay.
Back to business on Joy News Today. My name is Winston Taki, and that was first business story. Financial economist Professor Joshua Abo has argued that the cancellation of the electronic transaction levy will improve Ghana's financial sector and improve inclusive finance within the sector. He spoke to Joy Business at the launch of a book titled Monetary Economics in Emerging Developing Countries.
We've come from several regimes. Also, we had a controlled regime. We have a monetary regime, okay? And then now we are using inflation targeting. If you look at the data, inflation has actually performed better, actually trended downwards on the average during the inflation targeting regime compared with previous regimes, okay? We may not be that, monetary policy may not be that effective because of some of the limitations I've talked about, but on the whole, inflation targeting regime has served us better compared with the regimes we had in the past. I think there's a lot more we can do in terms of strengthening the financial system, okay, improving on the efficiency levels of the financial market or financial system, and that can help in strengthening monetary policy formulation and implementation. And so it's something that we need to tackle seriously. If you take the e-levy, for instance, that many people spoke against, is one thing that impacted on inclusive finance. Okay, we thought we had come far in terms of promoting financial inclusion, but that really discouraged many people from using the payment systems that we had. And for the current development, I think that will help to get back on track and make sure that we drive inclusivity as far as a financial system is concerned. And that can impact on monetary policy effectiveness.
Away from that, cocoa farmers cooperatives in Ghana are being admonished to shed partisan shackles and restructure their focus and mission on fighting for farmers' rights and cocoa farmers' future. While cooperatives once envisioned engines of empowerment and representation of common goals are often faulted and hijacked for political parties' expediency rather than progress of the unions. Country representative of Solidaridad West Africa, Eric Amwako Ejiri, urges leaders to be vigilant to prevent these associations from devolving into mere political tools.
Cocoa farming is an essential sector of Ghana's economy, with the country being the world's second largest producer of cocoa beans, trailing only behind Côte d'Ivoire. Due to challenges faced by smallholder farmers, cooperatives are formed to address and improve farmers' livelihoods, pool resources, enhance bargaining power, and provide mutual respect. The newly launched Ghana Cooperative Cocoa Farmers and Marketing Association in Kumasi is being entreated to stick to their mission and uphold members' welfare. Country representative for Solidaridad West Africa, Eric Amwako Ejari, advises cocoa cooperatives to be conscious of their impact on members.
As cooperatives had failed simply because they were more political than what they are expected to do. But today, the reality is dawning on the cooperatives themselves that if they don't now rework and to ensure that they assume the vibrancy that they have, then it means that they will still continue not to create the impact that they should. We started with them encouraging the societies to better the unions, and now the unions have formed this association. All we are saying is that we will continue to support them to improve the governance arrangements in them so that they become relevant to decision making. They are able to engage in constructive engagement with government and other actors to improve the sectors that we are involved in. You see,
Established in November 2024 with support from Solidaridad under its Reclaim Sustainability Program, the Ghana Cooperative Cocoa Farmers and Marketing Association is an umbrella body comprising 75 cocoa farmers cooperative unions across 9 cocoa-growing regions in Ghana. The association aims to strengthen the representation of cocoa farmers in decision-making processes at all levels of the cocoa sector. The launch brought together key stakeholders including cocoa farmers, cooperative unions, civil society organizations, policymakers, industry experts, traditional leaders and other relevant institutions. The association, which is first of its kind in the cocoa sector, was launched under the theme Building a Stronger Voice to Cooperatives to Promote Sustainable Livelihood for Cocoa Farmers, aligning with the 2025 UN International Year of Cooperatives focused on how cooperatives build a better world. President of the association, Isifu, is assuring union members of facilitating smooth policy implementation and ensuring these resources reach farmers effectively. Other stakeholders reach out to assure their commitment and support for the association. The task ahead is doable. For us at WCFO, we lie with the vision and missions of this association.
We align with them.
Cooperatives are formed at will. It's a positive step to embark on this. For JoyNews, my name is Clinton Yaboa.
The marketplace. Up next is sports. And the World Cup.
Time now for sports, and on behalf of the sports team, I bring you sports today. Now, Black Stars head coach Otto Addo is assuring Ghanaians his team is ready and prepared to win against Chad in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers later today. The Black Stars could go top of Group 1 with a win. Otto Addo spoke when Parliament's Youth and Sports Committee paid the national team a visit.
We're really happy for that. This is the support everyone to feel in a good environment, to give their best and then to win. And I'm very sure that we don't disappoint you. And we've been doing well in the training. They prepared well. I'm very happy to have the squads here. The way they train, the way they move together, they stick together, the way they discuss things now. And yeah, I'm really positive about tomorrow. Thank you once again. Like I said, we don't take it for granted, Sports Minister, that you come in every day to support us, to watch us. Thank you very much, the members of Parliament, and we'll meet in future and we'll make you proud.
We can now hear from Chairman and Ranking Member on Parliament's Youth and Sports Committee, Ernest Nogbe and Eko Asifo, respectively.
We are happy to be here first and foremost, and to add my voice to the Chairman to congratulate you on your nomination to be part of this team. My words will be very few. If it is about money, I know that most of you won't be here. But I know that it is the love for your country, the patriotism aspect of raising the flag of Ghana high. It is on that basis that most of you are here. I can only plead and urge you that as professionals, concentration is very key, especially for that 90 minutes. If we lose just 2 minutes or even a minute of concentration, we may have a problem.
You will see the 39 million Ghanaians in the stadium, the 278 MPs, 278 constituencies. Members of those constituencies will be at the stadium to cheer you. We know Ghana is a football-loving country, and we are all yearning to go to US, Mexico, and then Canada next year. We want to play the final in US, yes, which we are very much hopeful. Yes, we are playing finals in the US. So we are here in the name of Ghana. We are here in the name of our constituents and the constituencies to motivate you and say that we are behind you solidly. Put everything behind. Teamwork is most critical thing. And if Ghana is behind you, the spirit of the nation is behind you, I'm not sure you will falter on this pitch. And I know by the end of the day, on tomorrow, by the end of the day, you will come victorious.
Now, the match will start exactly at 7 p.m. and Mufta actually predicted 5-0, which I'm not too sure of, but we definitely wish the Black Stars the very best today. You're watching News Today, and Jacqueline Ansumaya is up next with Showbiz. Please stay.
Hello there, thank God it's Friday. You're welcome to the Showbiz segment with me, Jacqueline Ansumaya. So first story for today, did Ghanaian music duo Dope Nation get snubbed or did they miss the shot? Charterhouse Head of Communications, Robert Clark, has shed light on why the duo was absent from this year's nominations. And no, it wasn't a conspiracy. It was just a case of no submission, no nomination.
Speaking on Daybreak Hit with Andy Dusty, Robert Clark explained that while Dope Nation's Somizo was undoubtedly a hit, the duo simply didn't submit it for consideration. And in the world of awards, if you don't play, you can't win.
And biggest songs, one of the biggest songs you can think about. We love the songs, we jam to the song. I'm dance biased. We take dance, we take boogie rough, and all of that. And you know, one would expect that on a platform like this, they will certainly, in the year under review, their place will certainly be established. Unfortunately, when there was no filing and we tried to reach out for consent, we couldn't get it, and that is the reason why, as per the rules of the scheme.
However, the duo isn't letting this slide. After DJ Slim brought up their absence in a post on X, Dope Nation responded, hinting at deeper industry issues. In a cryptic message, they expressed frustration with what they called a hypocritical music space, suggesting that the exclusion may be about more than just an entry form. One thing is for sure, Dope Nation isn't holding back, and the industry conversation is far from over.
Is it a case of if you can't beat them, join them? Ghanaian musician Kelvin Boy has waded into the long-running Ghana versus Niger music debate, explaining why some Ghanaian musicians are now sounding more Nigerian in their compositions. We have more in the following report.
Finally, I see your face.
Ooh. For years, there's been chatter about Nigerian music dominating the African scene, with some arguing that Ghanaian artists should do more to push their unique sound. Others believe music is all about evolution and collaboration, not competition. Speaking to Andy Dusty on Daybreak Hits on Hits FM, Kelvin Boy revealed that the shift isn't one-sided. He pointed out that Nigerian artists also infuse Ghanaian languages and sounds into their music, creating a unique blend that appeals to both sides.
It depends. But what is it with you and this whole Nigerian sound?
I feel like is our sound still.
if we keep saying, oh, it was our style and they came to, it's our sound still. We are all blacks. I don't know why we accept to even day here and be arguing on dancehall and this thing, and we want to be far away from Afrobeat. Like, I'd rather be like this with my brother than outsider. Do you understand? So I'd rather sound Nigerian than to sound Jamaican or American, because it's close to me, like they understand me.
So is this fusion a smart move or a loss of identity? Either way, one thing is clear: West African music is only getting richer with these crossovers. For Joy News, I'm Jacqueline Ansuma Yaboa.
It's a wrap for the showbiz segments with me, Jacqueline Ansuma Yaboa. For more showbiz stories, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. Over to you, Emefa Akosia Adeti.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline Ansuma Yaboa, my melanin friend. Well, thank you for bringing us showbiz, but that'll be all as well for today and even more for this week. But for more news, though, please log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Akosia Adeti. I'll see you on Monday.